The Golden State Warriors are still fooling everyone. As you all know, the Golden State Warriors are still fighting for a playoff spot, but they have been fooling everyone because here are 5 underrated reasons why the Golden State Warriors are looking so good right now and how they can do well in the playoffs and eventually win an NBA championship. So make sure to like this video, and guys, 92% of you are still not subscribed to the channel, so it'd mean the world if you could subscribe to the channel, hit that red button down below. So the first is Jonathan Kaminga is playing at an elite level. Now, as you all know, Jonathan Kaminga has been somewhat of a replacement of Andrew Wiggins. Even though he isn't in the starting 5, he definitely provides a lot of defense, athleticism, and what he's capable of doing is a lot like Andrew Wiggins. Now, Wiggins is going to be out for some time, probably even the rest of the season, so seeing Kaminga step up has honestly been fantastic for this team. So far in the last 5 games, Jonathan Kaminga has been averaging 14.8 points, 4.3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and also 1 block. So he's doing a fantastic job, and I think Kaminga honestly has been improving as time has gone on. It's fantastic to see what he has been capable of doing, and now that he is getting a lot more minutes, around 25 to 27 minutes per game, he has definitely showed out in all ways and forms. If you even watch the games very thoroughly, you definitely see Kaminga provides a lot, not only just on offense but on defense as well. Him playing some on-ball defense, any position from 1 through 5, he can do a great job at that. I think that's something that is so important about his game and something that is very slept on. Now, another thing slept on about his game is his actual percentages when it comes to scoring. He's actually shooting 57% from the field, which is actually one of the highest in the team, if not in the top 3. And on top of that, guys, he's shooting 45% from the 3. Yes, he is only taking 3 threes a game, but still 45% is still a very good number. And someone like Jonathan Kaminga, who is still young and is still getting developed into this system, I think he has done a great job to step up to the plate. Now, when it comes to Kaminga's game, I do think he can definitely provide a lot more scoring, especially for that second unit. He is playing alongside Jordan Poole for that second unit. I think if Kaminga can definitely get into that 17, 18 range of points, maybe even up close to 20 points a game, I think that would be honestly fantastic for him. When it comes to what he is capable of doing now, not only on the offensive floor but on the defensive side of things, I think it is something that is definitely going to be needed in playoff and championship time. It definitely does rely on all 10 players to play their role. I think Kaminga's role has definitely gotten a lot bigger ever since Andrew Wiggins has been out for some time now. Now, when it comes to Kaminga during the playoffs and even championship time, if Golden State Warriors get there, I think Kaminga is going to have to play a huge role coming off the bench. Running that 6-man spot with Jordan Poole, them two are probably going to be some of the players that could definitely finish off games if they are very hot. So Kaminga is going to have to step into this role very quickly, which may be tough for some, but for Kaminga, I think he can get it done. The second is Kavon Looney has been averaging double-doubles. Now, as you all know, Kavon Looney has been the defensive anchor for this team, but he has now made his way into scoring a lot more points, which has been fantastic for this squad. Kavon Looney in the last 5 games is averaging 10.8 points, also grabbing 10.4 rebounds, 2.4 assists, and 1.6 blocks, and also 1 steal. So he's done a fantastic job ever since, there were a bit of movement when it comes to the rotations, but I think Kavon Looney has done a fantastic job at playing at such a high and elite level, and he's doing something that we have never actually seen from Kavon Looney. Not many people sees him as a scorer, but Kavon Looney's had 15, 20-point games at times, and he has provided a lot of scoring that is definitely needed, and it honestly makes this team even better. As you all know, when it comes to the Golden State Warriors, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, these are the players you definitely watch out for and that you focus on. But if you have Kavon Looney dropping 12, 15 points a game, I think that's when it becomes dangerous and championship type material. Kavon Looney averaging a double-double, and I think he can continue this on, even though it is just in the first 5 games or the last 5 games. I think he's done a great job and will continue to do this as time has gone on. His role has definitely gotten bigger because Wiggins was definitely one of the big rebounders in this squad. Now that Looney has to pick up for that responsibility, I think he has done a fantastic job in all facets. If we look at his efficiency as well, he's shooting 57% from the field, which is fantastic to see. And when it comes to his free throw percentage, it's still at 55%. And I do think he does go to the line quite a bit. He goes 4 free throw attempts a game, which is actually ranking him 3rd out of the whole roster. So he does go to the free throw line just a little bit. And I do think Kavon Looney, if he can get that that free throw number up, it would honestly be fantastic for this squad. But when it comes to what he's provided on defense, he's definitely caused a lot of shift, especially inside the paint. When a lot of guards come off, try to drive in and Kavon Looney is there, he caused a lot of problems and does a great job at contesting these shots and making it difficult for guards and even for big men to finish inside the paint. So I think Kavon Looney can continue to keep this up, and I think it is fantastic to see him really find his way, as although he had a big role last season, I think he is getting even a bigger role this season and continuing on. The third is that Klay Thompson hasn't slowed down ever since Steph Curry came back. Now, as you all know, Stephen Curry has been back for a little bit, and ever since then, Klay Thompson was the main guy for this team. And now he has to become the second splash brother again to Stephen Curry, and a lot of people thought that it was over for Klay Thompson. He was going to go back to his old ways, but he is still playing at such a high level. Not many people are realizing this. Now, Steph Curry, do not get me wrong, he's playing fantastic as of lately, but Klay Thompson is still putting up great numbers where he's actually dropping 22 points, 5.4 rebounds, and also 1.6 assists, and 1 steal and 1.2 blocks over the last 5 games. So Klay Thompson has done a fantastic job, and on top of this, he's been actually hitting 4 threes per game, so he's still playing at a very high elite level. Now, when Steph Curry was actually away from the team and Klay Thompson was the main scorer, he was averaging around 26 points. So, he only lost around 4 points to his point average. I think that is still great to see. The fact that Steph Curry provides a lot scoring, and for Klay Thompson to still be averaging 22 points, I think is absolutely fantastic. But something that definitely was great about the time off that Steph Curry had was Klay Thompson was able to get back into his rhythm, especially ever since coming back from 2 major injuries. Yes, last season he did win an NBA champion. However, Klay Thompson even said himself that he didn't feel 100%, and he was hoping that this season he could. Now, obviously, during the season he did play well, but he was a little bit inconsistent. But the time that Stephen Curry's off, I really do think it gave Klay Thompson a lot of confidence and a lot of time to really evaluate and become better, and that's definitely what has happened, because he's still playing at a very high elite level. He's shooting 47% from the field and is also shooting 40% as well from the 3-point line over the last 5 games. So he's definitely kept those numbers up, and I think it is fantastic to see Klay Thompson back to 100%. Yes, he may not be as fast or athletic as before, but I do think Klay Thompson can still give you a bucket and still defend some of the best players in the league. And that's something that we definitely need from Klay Thompson, especially when it comes to playoff and championship time. I think Klay Thompson is going to be a huge asset, even though they have Dante DiVincenzo, who's going to be a really great, ball handler defender. I do think Klay Thompson is going to have to play a huge role, especially on switches and screens. Klay Thompson is still a great defender, and I think he is still capable of guarding some of the best players in the league. But the fact that they have DiVincenzo as well ready to go, I think is fantastic as well. But Klay Thompson, definitely keep that name, because he's going to make a huge impact when it comes to the playoff times. And I do think right now, the way it's looking like, Klay Thompson is back at where he's at, and he's definitely playing 100% like we used to see from prime Klay Thompson. The fourth is that Dante DiVincenzo has become a great starting small forward. Now, I know I do talk about Dante DiVincenzo a lot on this channel, but I do got to give respect where respect is given, because Dante DiVincenzo has actually made his way into the starting small forward lineup, and he's done a fantastic job. As you all know, and I don't want to get into details, but Andrew Wiggins is going to probably be away for the rest of the season, and DiVincenzo was just picked up this year, and now he has finally made his way into the starting 5, and he's done a fantastic job at replacing Andrew Wiggins. Yes, he may not provide the same type of style of play, but DiVincenzo has done a fantastic job. Over the last 5 games, he's been averaging 9.2 points, 3.4 rebounds, also grabbing 4.2 assists, and also 1 steal. So he's done a fantastic job, and I think Dante DiVincenzo definitely does the intangibles right. If we look at his on-ball defense, it's honestly insane just how good he is. In one of the most recent games against Portland Trailblazers, there was a moment where Dante DiVincenzo actually waved off Klay Thompson in order for DiVincenzo to say, "I'm going to be marking Damian Lillard." And for the next 4 minutes, Damian Lillard only scored 1 point, and he was actually hot during that time. Now, if that doesn't show you just how great of a defender DiVincenzo is, then I don't know what will. But DiVincenzo does a lot of things that don't show up in the stat sheet, and I think it's honestly been fantastic for his team. His defense is definitely there, and like I mentioned before, Klay Thompson, obviously he's had a couple of injuries, so his athleticism isn't going to be the same as before, and they need a new lockdown defender since Andrew Wiggins is gone. Yes, Draymond Green is there, but Draymond can't guard through 1 through 4, and I do think DiVincenzo definitely fits that bill. Even though DiVincenzo stands at 6'4", he's very, very strong, has defended some of the best players in the league, and I think he's done a fantastic job on a lot of superstars so far this season. If you look at the way he plays, he just has that factor when it comes to playing defense. He ain't scared of anybody, and I do think it's honestly going to be so huge to have someone like that in this starting 5, especially since they don't have Andrew Wiggins. He's got the playoff experience, he's got the championship experience, so I do think, you know, it isn't going to be any worry to see him perform in the big stage. I think that's something to be very wary about when it comes to these other teams. The 5th is that Stephen Curry is playing at an MVP level. Now, a lot of people seem to really don't be aware that Stephen Curry has honestly been playing at such an elite level that it's honestly his peak form. Stephen Curry was great back in the day, but if we look at his numbers, it's honestly outpacing a lot of his other MVP seasons. He's actually averaging over the last 5 games 30 points, 6 rebounds, 5.2 assists, and is also getting 0.8 steals per game, while also shooting 42% from the 3-point line and also 51% from the 2. So he's honestly done a great job at really providing a lot of scoring that this team needs, and I do think Stephen Curry isn't going to be too worried about going into the playoffs and championships this season. A lot of people thought Steph Curry and also the rest of the Golden State Warriors were going to slow down, that, you know, they are getting older and, you know, eventually father time is catching up to them, but Stephen Curry seems to be getting even better, more like fine wine, and I think that's something that is making a lot of these NBA teams scared, and it's fooling a lot of these NBA teams thinking that the Golden State Warriors are done. Yes, they may only be fighting for an 8th, 9th spot right now, but I do think, guys, if they do make the playoffs, which is most likely going to happen, I really don't see them not making the playoffs. It is going to be very dangerous for these other teams.